The night I saw my stepmother's true face. They say if you see the dead dancing in the moonlight, you should never interrupt. That's what my grandmother used to say. But that night, I realized there's something far worse than the dead. It was a chilly evening, and I couldn't sleep. The night was unusually quiet, except for the rhythmic sound of someone humming a soft, haunting tune. It was coming from the backyard. I peeked through the window, and my stepmother was there, crouching low, digging into the dirt with her bare hands. Her movements were frantic, her body illuminated by the pale moonlight. I wanted to believe she was gardening late at night, but who gardens with a machete? Let me start from the beginning. After my mother passed, my father remarried a woman named Mama Adana. She was soft-spoken and kind in public, but at home, she had a way of making you feel like a speck of dirt under her feet. She didn't hit me, no. That would have been too obvious. Instead, she treated me like I didn't exist unless I made a mistake. Then, her dark, sharp eyes would lock on me, and she'd mock. She'd lock her dark, sharp eyes on me, and her words would cut deeper than any slap. "You're just like your mother, weak," she'd hiss. My father, blinded by love, never saw the way she treated me. I tried to stay out of her way, but the house always felt heavy when she was around, like the air was waiting for something bad to happen. One night, my father left for a business trip. It was just me, my stepmother, and my little brother, Chuka, in the house. That evening, she made us yam porridge for dinner, but something about it tasted off. It was too bitter, too earthy, like it had been mixed with soil. I didn't eat much, but Chuka ate his whole plate. Hours later, he was crying in pain, clutching his stomach. My stepmother barely flinched. "It's just indigestion," she said, handing him a cup of some dark, foul-smelling liquid. "Drink this. You'll feel better." Something in her tone made me uneasy. Chuka refused to drink it, so she glared at me. "Make him drink it, or he'll suffer all night." I pretended to help, but as soon as she turned her back, I poured the liquid into a plant by the window. That plant wilted and turned black within minutes. My heart raced. What was she trying to give my brother? That night, I couldn't sleep. Chuka's soft whimpers echoed down the hall, and my stepmother's humming filled the air. Around midnight, I heard the sound of a door creaking open. Curious, I tiptoed to the window and saw her in the backyard, crouched over the ground with her machete. She was digging. I watched, frozen, as she pulled something out of the ground, a small bundle wrapped in red cloth. She placed it on the ground, unwrapped it, and inside was a chicken's head, some bones, and a doll. The doll had a piece of fabric tied around it that looked exactly like Chuka's shirt. I felt my stomach drop. She began to chant, her voice low and guttural, like something out of a nightmare. I don't know how long I stood there, but I must have made a noise, because her head snapped up, and her eyes locked on mine. Her face didn't look human. Her pupils were completely black, and her mouth stretched too wide, her teeth sharp and yellow. I stumbled back, my heart pounding. She smiled, no, she grinned, and pointed the machete at me. The next thing I knew, I was running. I didn't even remember grabbing Chuka, but I found myself carrying him as I sprinted through the bush, away from the house. My legs felt like they were on fire, but I didn't stop until we reached my grandmother's village, miles away. When I told her what happened, she didn't look surprised. "That woman is an Ogbanj," she said grimly. "A spirit born to cause pain. She killed your mother, and now she's after you and your brother." My grandmother gathered the elders, and they performed the ritual to protect us. My father never believed me when I told him what happened, but he couldn't explain why Mama Adana disappeared the next day. She left without a trace, taking nothing with her. Sometimes, I still hear her humming in my dreams. And whenever I do, I wake up in a cold sweat, clutching Chuka's hand, just to make sure he's still alive. For years, I thought it was over. Mama Adana had disappeared, and life slowly returned to normal. My father remarried a kind woman, and Chuka and I found some peace. But there was always a shadow over our happiness, a lingering fear that she wasn't really gone. It started small, things going missing around the house, doors creaking open in the middle of the night, and strange footprints in the sand outside our window. At first, I convinced myself it was nothing. But then Chuka began to fall sick again. He complained of headaches and strange dreams. "She's calling me," he whispered one night, his face pale and sweaty. "Mama Adana, she's calling my name." I tried to comfort him, but deep down, I felt it too. The air was heavy again, and the shadows seemed to move when no one was looking. One night, it all came to a head. We were staying at my grandmother's house when the screams started. They weren't human screams, high-pitched and bone-chilling, like an animal in pain. We ran outside and saw her. Mama Adana stood at the edge of the village, her once beautiful face twisted and grotesque. Her skin was ashen, her eyes black pits, and her grin stretched unnaturally wide. She was wearing the same dress she had the night she disappeared, now torn and stained with dirt. "I told you," she hissed, her voice echoing unnaturally. "You can't escape me. You took what was mine, and now I take what's yours." She lunged toward Chuka, moving faster than any human should. My grandmother, already prepared, grabbed a calabash filled with protective herbs and threw it in her path. The ground sizzled where the mixture landed, and Mama Adana shrieked, her body convulsing as if in pain. The elders were summoned immediately, and they began a powerful ritual to trap her spirit. But Mama Adana wasn't going down without a fight. She darted through the village, knocking over pots and setting fires with a wave of her hand. At one point, she locked eyes with me. "You think you're safe," she spat, her voice dripping with venom. "You'll never be rid of me." But my grandmother was ready. She had found the root of Mama Adana's power, the bundle she had buried years ago. It had been hidden under the village shrine all this time, feeding off the land's energy. As the elders chanted, my grandmother burned the bundle in a sacred fire. Mama Adana screamed, her body twisting and contorting. She tried to escape, but her form grew weaker, more transparent, until finally, she dissolved into the air, leaving nothing but silence behind. The village elders assured us that Mama Adana was gone for good, but I'm not so sure. Sometimes, when the wind howls at night, I swear I hear her voice, faint and distant. "Don't sleep too deeply," she whispers. "I'm still watching."